The following is an original A-Livin' podcast.
Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, it's host Elijah Leonard here with you, and you guys are listening to Gamers Talk NASCAR. And Wyatt Walker, my co-host, unfortunately is not here. He is on a work trip, so he might join later on, probably towards the tail end of the episode if he has time, but he's not 100% sure yet. But the good news is I'm joined by none other than one of our panelists here, Mr. Slifer. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Surviving, especially after what we witnessed this weekend, which was nothing short of chaotic.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we had our doubts coming into this weekend, to say the least. I mean, we were excited when we first heard about the announcement of, NASCAR putting together this plan to race on a naval base, an active naval base at that as well. And then just literally 1 week before we got to the Coronado weekend, iRacing had revealed the actual layout of what the course is going to look like and what it was, basically all the challenges that the drivers would be facing. And Sly and I actually took to the track during 13th week ridiculousness. And because that came out 2 weeks before. 2 weeks. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I stand corrected. The track came out 2 weeks before.
I brought it up to you.
Yeah.
About it.
And my goodness gracious, let me just tell you, when Sly and I were having our challenges with this track, oh boy, if you've been watching back on any of my streams, or even I know Sly was off for a couple of days because he had some personal stuff as well. Nothing bad, by the way, actually really good stuff. But, we definitely had our challenges with the naval course. And that's why next gen, although it wasn't bad, it doesn't compare to the truck. That's all I'll say there.
The naval base, as far as iRacing, the Craftsman truck was a lot better. Second, I would actually say the next gen, and the one I would never drive on the Coronado naval base, the O'Reillys. they were like a yo-yo, just bouncing, like a lot of some of the drivers did this weekend. I still think it was a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Yes, I PG-13 to myself.
When we go back and we actually talk about this weekend, man, there's so much to unpack here. As far as real life racing at the Naval Base Coronado. So, why don't we just go ahead and just jump right into it? Let's start off. Let's kind of divide this up here. Let's kind of take a look at the truck race here. Let's talk about that, the very first ever NASCAR race on the naval base, which was the truck series. Let's talk about that, because as far as I'm concerned, I only caught the tail end of it because we were actually reacting to it live on stream, which, by the way, you can actually go back and watch that VOD. Well, you still can on twitch.tv/11 #shameless plug. But
I thought it was great race, and
all
around. A lot of things obviously divided between what iRacing had and what was actually on the track, the tire barrier in 12 was bigger in the actual race as opposed to a 3 tire pack, and also a tire pack in iRacing in 15 and none at the actual race. But no, the biggest problem that I saw mostly, though, with the trucks was they had a problem with turn 16. God, that wall took a beating.
Even before the racing even started, because we saw trucks literally just pounding that turn 16 wall, and every hit on that turn 16 wall, it just made that particular section that they've been hitting looser and looser and looser until finally one Tyler Ankrum came along. I think it was Ankrum.
It was McMurray that pancaked it. Ankrum finished it.
Yep, it was. So McMurray, he was, I think, the first in the race to actually pancake that wall pretty hard.
Yes.
And then Tyler Ankrum was the one that came along and finished it off, broke the wall, and it actually killed his truck because the damage to the right front of his truck was just absolutely just horrendous. I mean, even when you look at his truck from a different angle, like you could see the roll cage. You could see the roll cage of that truck, and it was like, man, that is a hellacious hit that Tyler Ankrum took. But thank God he was okay. Thank God the wall definitely gave as much as it did.
It did it, and that was the reason what they intended for it, like in case if it moved.
Absolutely.
Instead of, I know we don't want to go back and remember it, the hit with Christopher Bell at Michigan.
Yep.
That safer barrier pretty much didn't give. I mean, they had to fix it a little bit, but it didn't give.
Well, it actually did, right? Because you saw, like, I mean, even when we're talking about it, because we talked about it 2 weeks ago. Well, now 2 weeks ago, where the impact of just Bell's hit, you could see the safer barrier flex. And so it just crushed so much of the styrofoam that was in between the steel, aluminum, like the I think that's steel barrier and the concrete wall itself. So it flexed, but obviously just the amount of speed that Bell went into the wall in turn 3 at MIS, or turn 4 rather, it just, obviously that was a much harder hit than, it would have been way worse if it was just a concrete barrier that obviously didn't budge. So thank God it was a safer barrier that flexed and actually caved, and it gave as much as it did, because say for this past weekend, if we had barriers that didn't do that, think of the damage that it would have done to the vehicles, and think of the injuries that would have come out of it as well. I almost saw one in particular. We'll catch up with that a little bit later on, but let's talk about, there's a couple highlights that I do want to make here. Jimmy Johnson in this truck race, from the get-go, started up at the front. I think he started 4th in that race, in the truck race.
Yay. Let's see. Where did he finish? Was it the back? I think the back.
He finished 30th. Yeah, he started 4th. So he started 4th in the race, and even early in the very early part of the event, he was spectacular in the very early stages of the race, actually running up front, and there were some comments that he wound up making, was being up at the front of the field. Obviously there's drivers at the front that are racing, very respectfully, very kindly. And then he had some other stuff happen that put him towards the middle of the pack, and he's looking around. There's damage on the trucks. That's not from hitting the wall. That's from beating on each other. So he clearly pointed out that there's no respect in the middle part of the pack. And then unfortunately had a few setbacks, and then had one that took him out of the race ultimately, unfortunately slotting him in 30th. But still, I think, if I'm going to be honest with you, I might have to take Kevin Harvick's side here and just say, hey, why don't you just go race trucks? I mean, Cup is one thing, but in my honest opinion, it's just like the truck series. I think when we talk about the truck series, we go back to St. Petersburg. Look at the guys that actually came about over in that truck race at St. Pete. You had James Hinchcliffe. You had Dario Franchitti come out of retirement. You had several other, IndyCar guys that were just coming out and racing for fun. Even other road course racers that were coming out and racing for fun, all in the truck series. So I thought, man, I think it only makes sense if Jimmy stuck to trucks, if I'm being honest, because you're not taking it as seriously.
Have you seen how many people come out of retirement for a couple races in the Cup Series.
Almost rarely, honestly.
I know we can call it whatever we want this time, but like Xfinity, O'Reilly, Busch Series. How many have you seen?
I've seen, I mean, several years ago, I remember Bill Elliott racing in 2018. He drove the 23 at Road America. That's the only other thing I really remember as of recently. Bobby Labonte at Daytona, driving the 18 car. So, I mean, there's a couple of those. That's for sure.
But the Truck Series, I've seen the most.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Stewart.
Yep.
What was it? Obviously, this weekend you had Brandon Gaughan, Jamie McMurray. We've had Clint Boyer. Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson. Although, like, that was kind of a given because Jimmy had been out of retirement, like, had come out of retirement like several years earlier.
But he's still technically kind of semi-retired.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And we know for any sport, baseball, wrestling, football, you're never fully retired. Except we heard one person this weekend say that he's done. Don't call him. He'll call you.
Yup. And speaking of the truck race, let's cycle back to that. Let's talk about the finish because there was a lot happening within those last few laps. You had on a restart, which I think was the final restart of the race, you had Caden Honeycutt. He bounces off the turn 1 barrier, not super hard, but just enough to tag Chandler Smith, who arguably, if nothing happened to him, probably was the best truck of the night and definitely could have won the race. Unfortunately, gets tagged by Caden Honeycutt rather, and turned into the right-hand barrier before turn 2. And he's done. He's out of here. Honeycutt at that point has so much damage. He's not able to keep up with the lead pack. So it comes down to Lane Riggs, who's saving on fuel, Daniel Hemrick, and Tyler Reif. Of all the people I would have expected to be a potential contender for their first Truck Series win, Tyler Reif. And he managed to take the lead, I think. I forgot what part of the track he took the lead in.
Hold on. I actually have the highlight up right now.
But yeah, look at this. So it was right here, actually, that he manages to get the lead away from Daniel Hemrick.
15. That was 15.
Yeah.
14, 15.
But
and
look
then
at
he locks
that.
it up. He locked them up.
Like, this obviously was... I was thinking at that point that... I was thinking in that moment where Reif had locked up the brakes going into the bus stop, I was thinking he's going to get cleaned out.
Then we fast forward to the final lap.
Yep.
And Riggs was even saying he wasn't trying to do nothing. Like, he was doing like a scare tactic, which
worked.
Paid off.
It ultimately worked.
But there was a lot of people that we didn't think that would be up there that were up there. There.
And then there is where Tyler Reif unfortunately missed the chicane. He has to come to a stop because he cut the course. And that ultimately just seals it. That gives Lane Riggs the win. Or sorry, Lane Van Rigsbergen the win at the Naval Base Coronado.
Can we just touch on that for a second?
I loved that. I loved that he called himself Lane Van Rigsbergen, which I have to say it's kind of accurate because he's won, like, I think most of the road courses this year in the Truck Series.
That was the mildest ending out of the three. We ready to enter the chaos zone?
Oh boy, let's here we go. Let's talk about the O'Reilly Series race. Now, this one, my God, the beginning of this race, I mean, the truck race, I mean, the start of it, 4 laps in for 2 truck spin, it's kind of ridiculous a little bit, but not as ridiculous as the manholes.
Corey Day
Flying up and hitting and actually going through the grill of Corey Day's car. Keep in mind, Corey Day's in a backup. Corey Day was in a backup car.
Yeah.
And
Brandon Jones.
Him and Brandon Jones were both in backup cars. There were several other drivers. I think half the field. I think this is the race that half the field were in backup cars.
Yeah.
And Corey Day, poor Corey Day, a manhole just tears through the grill, comes to pit road. They take that car to the garage. They're repairing the car under red flag conditions as officials are going around the track, making sure that all the manholes are secure. And thank God NASCAR did this. They actually let Corey Day's crew work on the car. Work on the car, figure out what's going on, try to make repairs to the grill. They were opting of like, oh, let's go to the we could go to the primary, but that's not as good as our backup or whatever, right? Because they were thinking about switching cars. Well, they actually stuck with the backup car that they had went with, and they gave all of Corey Day's laps back, which I thought, great. That's awesome. The only issue that I had with it, though, is he had to go around the course 4 times to get all of his laps back. And I thought, man, this is just time consuming, man. We were an hour into the race and it was just like, man, we're pacing and we're trying to let this guy get back on the lead lap, which is like, all right, cool. But why not just give all of his laps back right there? I mean, that's just me. So that way he's not having to burn as much fuel. He's not having to use up as much of his tires as he probably, in my honest opinion, probably shouldn't have. Because NASCAR should have just given all the laps back right there. But
just make him start at the rear of the field.
I digress. You get all your laps back, but you gotta start at the tail end of the field. But anyways, we get a little bit later into the race, and I think this happened on a restart, but my God, turn 1. Calamity corner. Poor Sam Mayer. I think he took the hardest hit out of anybody this weekend. And unfortunately, it caused a huge, massive pileup on the exit of turn number 1. And thank God everybody was okay, especially Sam Mayer, who unfortunately beat me in rock, paper, scissors. I don't know if he did that for anybody else.
I beat him.
But yeah, like that. I saw the replay of the wreck and I was like, damn.
I do want to touch on something that happened during this red flag.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about it.
Anybody remembers Matt Kenseth at Watkins Glen?
Here's the difference. Here's the difference between 2007 and now. This guy did not bring a pen to be like, hey, Sheldon Creed, can you sign my hat? He just casually walks up, talks to Sheldon Creed, and then just climbs the fence. He was drunk, mind you. I think there was confirmation that he was drunk.
It was just the fact that he talked to him, asked him if they were racing, if they were under a red flag, and gave him a fist bump and left. And Sheldon Creed even said in his post-race interview, he thought that was funny.
He was
laughing about it.
I would have laughed about it too, honestly, because like I mean, like Matt Kenseth was laughing when that fan jumped the guardrail to get an autograph, all those years ago. So that was shades of 2007 all over again. But let's go ahead and fast forward towards the finish of the race. And this race, I think it did go. It had a late race restart, I believe.
Yeah, because they were. It was. Crap, I forgot what they called it, but like if it got to a certain time.
Yeah, because of Jamie Little said it. Jamie Little said it, but like I can't remember what she called it. Austin Hill, we got to talk about this because Austin Hill, I think, probably had the best drive out of, Taylor Gray, and then who was the other one that Taylor Gray was fighting for the win? Wasn't it? It was Carson Kvapil. Carson Kvapil. Because Kvapil, and this is just straight up racing between the two of them because Carson obviously was on defense. He knew that Taylor Gray had the better car. Austin Hill, he's just chilling in third. He's just watching this all happen. And then you get Taylor Gray and Carson, they get together. Gray inadvertently, puts Carson into the tire barriers, to which quickly he gets back going, doesn't lose a whole lot of ground.
He bounced off the tire barrier and just put that thing in gear and just took off.
He just took off. Absolutely took off and, went on to finish fourth. But Austin Hill, he waited until the time was right, managed to make the pass on Taylor Gray, did not look back from there. And he scores his first win on a road course. And man, oh man, this was, I think this is probably going to be one of the most special wins in all of Austin Hill's career. It was definitely emotional, with everything that NASCAR has gone through, especially Richard Childress Racing as of recently, with the loss of Kyle Busch a little over a month ago now. The echoes of emotion and just all out jubilation of this win it definitely was heard. It was heard by everybody, virtually, and even while you were at the track, or if we were watching, just by Austin Hill doing the burnout next to the number 8, and then in the post-race interviews, you could even hear it in Richard Childress's voice, man, because holy cow, this is a win that definitely meant a lot.
And also the funniest at the same time. Had to get towed.
He basically burnt the rear tires off, which was like, man, that was funny.
It was emotional but funny. And he killed the tires by the number 8.
Yes.
Honestly, who would have done that?
Kyle himself.
Busch.
Absolutely. Slime, we got to talk about the main event.
Oh, God.
The main event is probably, this was the most topsy-turvy inaugural race I think I've seen since the Chicago Street Course. Holy cow.
I know we'll get to results, but
we all had unanimously said SVG was going to be our winner. And he did look like it for the opening part. However, everybody had to deal with the challenge of, obviously the changing surfaces, from asphalt to old concrete to new concrete and rear tires. Yeah.
Really the fight for second place.
Yeah. And then rear tire fall off, SVG had to deal with that. So he was learning and, obviously he learns pretty quick. Bubba Wallace, man, this is probably, I think this is the second time I've seen Bubba's crew absolutely fumble the ball on him. This happened at COTA several years ago, where a tire was not fastened and it flew off while Bubba was 3/4 of the way around the track. And it kind of happened similarly 4 years later, but this time it was the right front tire where the air gun was in reverse. So instead of tightening the lug nut, you were loosening up even more.
And then he pulled the gun out, went to put it forward. Jackman dropped the jack.
And he took off. He took off. Oh, and I was like, damn, man. Because that was absolutely like gut wrenching. And then you heard the emotion from Bubba as he had obviously was just as pissed off as he honestly was. And this is one of those moments where I feel for Bubba there, because like I'd be pissed too if my tire wasn't fastened and it just falls off right halfway across the track. But he got held for 2 laps, just for that tire falling off, I believe. So of course he was just as upset about that. You could even visibly see him just like, I think he pounded the wheel. He was like,
oh, he was dropping F-bombs on the radio.
Yep, he was. He absolutely was.
But there's one thing I did want to touch for a quick second about the O'Reilly accident.
Yep.
I think it was a record. 23 cars were involved in that accident.
Man, that's over half the field.
I'm not sure how many were in the Cup accident, which was, I believe, 20, maybe 20 feet from the O'Reilly accident.
All right, let's talk about it. Because I think this is what was this at the tail end of like stage 1 or stage 2, or the beginning of stage 2?
Right around somewhere in stage 2.
Oh man!
Actually, no, I think it was the start of it. I believe. I'm trying.
Lap 31. I'm seeing several guys had gone out, so this is probably at the beginning of stage 2.
It was it was because SVG made it 3 wide.
Yep.
He backed off because he knew what would happen if it was 3 wide.
Sure enough, he was right, because you see SVG backs off. Hill and Zilich, they go wide.
Boom. Oh, that looks worse from the aerial view.
Yeah. And the only reason why Sly got that sole pile up point is because, yes, although you saw Austin Hill go up the track, Zilich did bounce off the wall and then tag Austin Hill.
And the fact that these guys going about 100 miles an hour around turn 1, only reason why I noticed I've done it, to slow down and avoid the accident was unreal.
Absolutely.
And this was I think Ty Gibbs' point of view.
Yep. And it's crazy that he was in the middle of all that too, because he still went on to finish like top 10 with a missing right front fender, and the hose was literally just dangling off the car after this absolutely devastating pileup. We get back to racing, and obviously there's a lot of strategy that plays out. By the way, we do have to point out in the process of this, Christopher Bell started the race. He got out halfway through stage 1. Brent Cruz was the relief driver. He gets in, and then halfway through stage 2, which ultimately was the thing that set up that those restart shenanigans, over revs the motor as he's trying to downshift.
He's used to the sequential, shifting patterns.
H pattern.
And not the, yeah. It was obviously 2 different ones between the Cup and O'Reilly cars.
Yeah.
So he wasn't used to the Cup ones.
Yeah, it burnt the
And
gears and over revved the motor. Like, jeez, oh Pete, man. Like, that was absolutely crazy. But getting back into it, we get a little bit later in the race, and then it's suddenly, as Wyatt is here, from out of nowhere, because you're just in time. We're getting ready to recap the end of the Cup race.
Oh, I thought y'all. I thought y'all
Oh,
were
no.
a
We are-
long time.
Nope.
Oh no, we had so much to dissect. Why?
This is the most in-depth dissection that we are definitely going in, that we're definitely doing. So talking about the end of the Cup race, it eventually kind of just turned into a 23-11 showdown between Tyler Reddick, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, but at the same time, you knew it was going to happen at some point. The race would boil down to Tyler Reddick and the guy that I call the Wanderer himself, signed full time in 2027 to 2311, Mr. Corey HEIM. It ultimately came down to those two, and I have to say, I think that was probably the most balanced and most respectful fight for the win I think I've ever seen out of the both of them. And even because you had HEIM, who took advantage of a mistake that Reddick made going into turn 3. He tries to make the pass for the lead. He gets it. HEIM gets it. Reddick tries to cross over. He tries to pass Corey HEIM clean. And then this is something I've never seen before. Ever. I've never seen anybody do it up until Tyler Reddick did this. He kind of just overshot the corner. He makes contact with Corey HEIM, and he slows down. He almost comes to a stop and lets Corey HEIM go. And he was like, he basically probably was thinking, I didn't mean to do that, so I'm going to let you go by, and I'm going to chase you down. I'm going to actually chase you down because I know I can pass you. I know I can win this race. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that because a lap later, the left front tire would go down for Tyler Reddick. Nathan Stapleton was with us off stream, off air. He was begging for a caution to come out because he wants to see a Larson win. He was begging for one. And Larson was actually doing pretty good himself. You know, that entire race, he actually got the tire strategies, the pit strategies down, and ultimately secured a top 10. But Corey HEIM, after the left front tire went down for Tyler Reddick, that ultimately sealed the deal for Corey HEIM to just cruise to his first win in the NASCAR Cup Series.
I remember before, I forgot what race we were discussing, but we did have that conversation about who would get their first win, Zilich or HEIM.
Actually, the top 3 drivers who've been asking about when they're going to get their first win, talking about like talking about like Kosovar, HEIM, and Gibbs. Where probably I know we talked about Zilich. He's probably I hope his next year gets better for him. But it's like those are probably the big 3 that we've been wondering when they're going to get their first win. And all 3 of those drivers, even though HEIM's not even full time in Cup yet, we've been wondering like if he was going to get his first win.
And that's the mind-blowing thing too about this whole deal that Corey HEIM is in right now. Given the fact that he's part-time, that he can basically go and run anything that he wants, whether it be a truck for Tricon, whether it be an O'Reilly's car for Sam Hunt Racing or JGR, no matter which Toyota team he goes to run for, whichever team calls him, or even 2311 in the Cup Series. It is remarkable. As many races as he's run this year, he has won just as many races that he has entered in. Doesn't matter if it's a truck or a cup car.
I didn't think.
And it's unbelievable. It's just absolutely insane to see a part-timer perform as well as Corey HEIM is right now, as a part-timer, given the fact that he won half the races in the Truck Series last year and then goes on to win 2 or 3 more races this year in the Truck Series, and then follows it up with a Cup win before he goes full time. I'm sorry to cut you off, Wyatt, but I got to point that out. Before he's ever full time, and even prior to that win, we saw him creeping into the picture as a part timer, contending for top 5s, contending for top 10s. He had the speed before he's ever going to step into the car full time, which is wild to me. We do have to confirm here that this is the 67's first win in the NASCAR Cup Series.
Cool.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
There's actually been a stat that actually popped up, and I'm actually glad that it did, because again, you had been wondering exactly how many other numbers are there out there that don't start with a 0 or even in the triple digits that were run way back in the day, but since then had kind of been done away with, other than, Corey LaJoie last year when he drove the 01. Here's a list of numbers that have not scored a win, their first ever Cup win, by how many starts that they've run. And we're going to go from the least amount of starts to the most. Starting off with the number 82, with 349 starts without a win. Then we get to the number 35, which is currently at 375 starts and counting without a win.
Before you continue on, can we just say that that's going to change by next year?
It will change by next year. Mark my words. Mark our words. It's going to happen. The number 68 has gone 404 races without a win thus far. The number 93, 413 races. The number 74, 469. The number 79, 478. And this is kind of crazy to say this, but this streak should have ended with Matt DiBenedetto. The number 95 currently sits at 523 races without a win.
I agree that's been broken by Matt DiBenedetto. I watched that Bristol race. I was rooting for Matty D. I love that Hamlin got the win, but it's at the same time like, damn it, I wanted the underdog Matt DiBenedetto.
Yeah, it should have been the underdog.
I'm just saying, this year, he should have a paint scheme of Lightning McQueen at Bristol. I'm sorry. You got to do it.
I feel like it should happen.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the number 94 with 530 starts without a single win. Yes, this even includes the time where Bill Elliott drove the number 94 for a little while in the mid to late 90s into 2000.
I would have thought he would have gotten a win in the 94.
That's what I thought too, but that's not the case. The number 36 has gone 754 races without a win, and the number one number that has the most starts with 0 wins is the number 70. 761 starts without a single win.
It's crazy how on that list, there's only one number that's being currently used at this moment, and that is the 35.
Absolutely. With that said, let's go ahead and get into our finishing results here. We have gone almost an hour recapping and dissecting every race, and I think it's been a while since we've gone into depth dissecting almost every single race by their key moments and key drivers.
This one had to. There was no way around it.
There's no way around this. Let's start off with the Truck Series results at the Naval Base Coronado. Lane Van Rigsbergen taking home the win. Daniel Hemrick, after starting 32nd, takes home the runner-up spot. Very impressive. Not as impressive as Kaz Grala coming out of nowhere makes his Truck Series return and takes home a podium finish in third place. How about that? Then we have Landon Lewis finishing in the fourth spot, followed by Ty Majeski rounding out your top five. Justin Haley leading the Dodge Brigade to that being the highest Dodge to finish inside of the top 10 by finishing in sixth. Brendan Queen not too far behind him in seventh. Then in eighth is Ben Rhodes. Ninth, Christian Eckes, and Gio Ruggiero rounds out your top 10. From 11th all the way down to 20th, those results looked like this. Mini Tyrell, and I was kind of banking on him starting up a pileup, but the only pileup that he started was putting us through hard times when it comes to racking up points.
Yeah.
Then we have Tanner Gray, Chris Wright, Adam Andretti, Cole Butcher, Brendan Gaughan, Austin Varco, who was driving the 22 for this weekend, Parker Kligerman, Tyler Reif, and Frankie Muniz completing your top 20.
Hold on, before we continue on, talk about like upsets. We could have had an upset with Tyler Reif.
We could have. And we almost saw it too.
I would not be surprised with that performance that I think Tyler Reif might be full-time next year.
Oh, without a doubt. Especially for Nice Motorsports too. And I think that makes the most sense.
Nice needs more like full-time or just like, Andres Perez is doing pretty well, but Nice was in its prime. It was one of the biggest it was like one of the powerhouses. Like you had names like Carson Hocevar was a big name. Ross Chastain when he was full-time. He was big on there. Brett Moffitt at one point. Just like Nice Motorsports was big. It had some big drivers. And it's just like the last few years, it just quiet down, gone back to the mid.
It really fell off. Yeah, the program really fell off when you had guys like Hocevar and Chastain. Those two drivers in particular, go up to Cup, and the rest is history from there. And it's like, man, that's so unfortunate. But continuing on here.
He did honeycut on that too before he got cut.
No pun intended. Jinx.
No pun intended, but like Honeycutt did well too before he got booted out before the playoffs started.
But hey, it worked out because look at where he's at now. Yeah. So that was kind of a blow that Nice did to themselves. But let's go ahead and continue on here. 21st on down to 30th looks like this. You have Andreas Perez, Chandler Smith, Caden Honeycutt, Connor Mosack, Justin Marks. Thank God the truck didn't blow up on him. Dawson Sutton, Jackson Lee, Nathan Nicholson, Grant Enfinger, and Jimmy Johnson. Which that hurts to say. He's the guy that rounds out your top 30. That hurts.
Jimmy Johnson had one of his best runs in a while. Yes, it was Truck Series.
And he led 2 laps.
Yeah. That was pretty good by Jimmy.
Absolutely.
That was probably one of the few times we saw the Jimmy of old. But I don't know. Part of me would have loved to see if he got that, not only to just complete the triple threat, complete the triple threat, but just like to see Jimmy Johnson win one more time.
Finally, from positions 31st on down to 35th, you got Tyler Ankrum, Jake Garcia, Stuart Friesen, Jimmy McMurray, which we're never going to see him in a truck or a cup car ever again after today, after this weekend, and Corey LaJoie, who went out of the race on lap 14. Shifting gears, no pun intended, over to the O'Reilly Series, Austin Hill comes home with the race win. Taylor Gray finishing in second, Sheldon Creed third, Carson Quapple fourth, Sammy Smith rounds out your top 5, followed by Jesse Love in 6th, Parker Rutzloff 7th, Austin Green coming home in the 8th position, Harrison Burton 9th, and after the day that he had, Corey Day rounding out your top 10.
He was the man.
Hole. Positions 11th on down to 20th look like this. You got Ryan Sieg, Brandon Jones, Blaine Perkins, Andrew Patterson, Jeremy Clements, Josh Bilicki, Jeb Burton, Preston Pardis, Brad Perez, and Patrick Starr completing your top 20. 21st on down to 30th looks like this. You got Dawson Cram, Raja Caruth, Joey Gase, Brendan Poole, Jesse Awuji, Leland Honeyman, Alex LeBay, Dean Thompson, LeVar Scott, and Ryan Ellis rounding out your top 30. Finally, from positions 31st on down to 37th, look like this. Brent Cruz, Justin Allgaier, Baltazar Leguizamon, Sam Mayer, Anthony Alfredo, William Sawalich, and Kyle Sieg, who went out of the race on lap 28. I think I read that right. It was 28. Hold on. Let me go back and double check that real quick.
No, yeah, he went out on lap 28.
Okay, because I said 28 because I looked at his car number. Finally, let's talk about our Cup Series results here. Starting off with Corey Heim, as we highlighted, a future prodigy in the Cup Series. He's already a prodigy, and he's gonna prove it more in the Cup Series, as you see Wyatt doing his very best Corey Heim impression.
No, I'm swatting mosquitoes.
And even obviously Sly, who was doing it, but you got Wyatt, who is really putting in the work here.
No, that's The Rock.
His teammate Bubba Wallace finishing in the second position. What a absolutely fantastic recovery for him. Kyle Larson finishing in third. By the way, I have to add this in. This is a interesting top 10. I think just as interesting in Michigan, but I don't think the Michigan top 10 will be topped. Zane Smith coming home in fourth, as I said. AJ Allmendinger coming out inside of the top 5. Chris Buescher finishing in 6th. Ross Chastain 7th. Riley Herbst 8th. Ryan Blaney 9th. And Michael McDowell rounds out your top 10.
On the track that we're at, or a type of track, some of those names don't really surprise me as much being up there.
No. I'd say the only one would be Riley Herbst.
Right now, I'm kind of 50-50 with him. It's like how well he's been showing up, how well 2311 has been. He's still, even now with Corey Heim winning, he's still like the bottom of the totem pole. Yeah, obviously because he's leaving too, but at the same time, but he has still picked it up.
Absolutely.
I'll know more in the points too when we get there.
Positions 11th on down to 20th look like this. You got Ryan Preece, Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez, Denny Hamlin, Ty Gibbs, John Hunter Nemechek, Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, Carson Hocevar, and Eric Jones, your top 20. 21st on down to 30th looks like this. Get ready to hear some of this other stuff because this is going to be wild. Todd Gilliland, Austin Cindric, Cody Ware, Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, Kevin Magnussen, whom, by the way, laid down the fastest lap of the race within the last couple of laps from 27th position. He came out of nowhere and got that bonus point, by the way. Jimmy Johnson, Josh Berry, and Ty Dillon. That's your top 30. Finally, from positions 31st on down to 39th, look like this. Cole Custer, William Byron, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Brad Keselowski, Noah Gragson, Austin Hill, Connor Zilich, SVG, and Christopher Bell, whom started the race, but handed the wheel over to Brent Cruz, and unfortunately, he cruised that car into a 39th place finish with, obviously, the gears and over-revving the engine on lap 28.
You know, that really grinds my gears.
You want to know what grinds my gears? Let's talk about another incident that wound up taking place on the racetrack. So, has anybody seen the post-race altercation between Kevin Magnussen and Noah Gragson? By far,
effing problem.
I loved the absolute piss out of this. Because that shows, because one, it just, it kind of just showed me where Noah's head was at versus Kevin Magnussen, because Kevin Magnussen in Formula One has kind of had the reputation of being very kind of aggressive on the racetrack and not afraid to let you know, like, hey, you're doing, like, you're kind of messing around on the racetrack and you're bumping into me, you're banging into me. I can play that same game right back to you. And he did, because Noah Gragson on the racetrack obviously was doing everything he could to keep Magnussen behind him, bumping on him, banging his door, and kind of just putting Kevin Magnussen in these really, really awkward situations. And then Kevin obviously had enough, so that's hence the clip going through turn 4 of Magnussen bumping Gragson into the wall. That's why we saw Gragson have all that damage. But the video of the altercation, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this here, of Noah going up to Kevin, and he's just like, why did you wreck me? What's your problem? And then Kevin Magnussen is just like, my problem is you are in my face. F off. It's like, do you understand English? F off. And then Noah's not getting the message. Why did you wreck me? I'm like, insert AOL dial-up sounds in Noah Gregson's head here.
Oh my God, AOL sound, Jesus.
No, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this here. Looking at that post-race altercation, after everything, after all the footage that we seen of like Magnussen's like in-car footage of his deal with Noah Gragson on track, do we think, are we on the side of Kevin Magnussen, you know, being as justified as he was, you know, in his own right, or are we on the side of Noah Gragson, who is like, you know, why did you wreck me? Why did you race me as hard as you did? You know, like, what do you guys think of that whole situation?
So I think things might have gotten a little bit smoother if he would have told him why he wrecked him. But at the same time, the hamster in Noah Gregson's head was dead, but the wheel was still spinning. And Kevin even said it himself. F-A-F-O. Did I want to see some bombs being thrown? No pun intended to where they were at. Yes. Would it have been NASCAR with hands being thrown? Yes. Was I disappointed? Fully. I mean, it still ended up civiled. You know, they walked away. So they didn't have to go to the hauler, you know, and stand there with glasses on and be like, everything's fine.
Everything's great.
I think I'm just going to stay neutral because, like, I didn't watch the race. I saw it, but at the same time, like, I wasn't full on paying attention. So, like, I just see the altercation. I'm just seeing I'm just seeing a show. There it is.
I mean, honestly, when I first saw the post-race altercation between Gragson and Kevin Magnussen, I was thinking to myself, at some point, Noah's going to throw haymakers. That's what I was thinking. But, man, I mean, that was honestly, to kind of bookend the recap side of things, you know, when it comes to the weekend, I think our expectations had kind of been blown out of the water in a good way. And I think our doubts of the weekend, I think, were definitely sort of subsided after we saw the action on Naval Base Coronado. I think we definitely got our money's worth when it came to the action.
I would like to see them, no pun intended with JU, but run it back.
Pizza. I'll be inside in a second. I'll be inside.
I'll take a pizza.
I'll take a pizza too.
Yeah, no, this is our pizza for how much we work. No.
Can I get stuffed crust?
All right. With that being said, I'm probably going to sign off after I do my segment. But this is my segment of all the damn points. We had all three series. I know the first two on my end has not been updated. I got the trucks, but I was out of state and has not been updated yet. So I'll go ahead and get on that. Then I'll go back to Discord and talk about the other series. So truck race. We have completed 10. We have completed 13 out of. We have 5 races left in the regular season, y'all. In the truck series, 5 races left. We have right now. We have Lane Riggs with 4 wins. This is his 4th win with 284 points above. Katie Honeycutt still second with 219. Chandler Smith 156. Gio Ruggiero 132. My apologies. Eckes 130, Ty Majeski 75, Ben Rhodes 71, Daniel Hemrick 35, Tyler Ankrum 23, and Jake Garcia is the lone guy with only 5 points above the cutoff. Then this is where it gets dicey. It's like it really shortened down us. We got Grant Ansbinger with 5 points below, Stuart Friesen 10 below, Brendan Queen, Butterbean has been moving up. He's currently 11 points below. He is not that far. He's back in the battle for the cut line.
Yeah.
He is, for me, he's still the dark horse to get into the chase in the truck series. Justin Haley, 22 below. Andres Perez, 33. Tanner Gray, 37. Then you have a giant gap between him and Minnie Tyrell with 82. Dawson Sutton, 86. Cole Butcher, 106. And Chris Wright, 116.
And I said this, I think, last week when we were reviewing the O'Reilly's points, because there's probably at the time there was about 9-10 races left at the time that we reviewed the points for O'Reilly's and like the chase picture. But I think for trucks, since we're down to about 5 races to go in the regular season, I would say the only other driver that I probably would see as a long shot to maybe get in is Minnie Tyrell. Granted, he's 82 points, below the cut line. I mean, if he is able to muster up, a little bit of momentum and a little bit of speed, which we know the Dodges, they can have speed. Unfortunately, the puzzle pieces are they're kind of partially together, then they kind of fall off, and now they're slowly kind of getting back into it. But like for Minnie Tyrell, I feel like he has been slowly coming around a little bit more every race. So I feel like he'll get close, but I feel like he's just a long shot. In my mind, from Dawson Sutton down, I don't see a way. In my honest opinion, I don't see a way.
With 4 points separating Minnie Tyrell and Dawson Sutton.
I'm only saying Minnie Tyrell is a little bit more logical than Dawson Sutton because given the fact that Rackley Ward does have average speed, I don't think it's going to be enough. Me personally, I just don't think it's going to be enough. Granted, I get that they're still pretty close together points wise. That doesn't matter to me. I don't think it's enough.
I feel like just depends on the drivers competing. Right now, obviously Tanner Gray still being 37, big points gap between him and Tyrell. He's still involved.
Yeah.
But if you really look at this, I really think I think it's just from Justin Haley up that could have a shot. Like Andres Perez doesn't have the speed as well to be up there. Tanner Gray's the same way for me, even though they're only 30 below. I don't see them if they somehow get mustered up speed and win one of these next few races, I'd be shocked. But I honestly don't see it. It's a toss up between any of these. It took Grant Enfinger this long to get 5 points below. So how well he's been doing. So this one's, I don't know. This one's a toss up. Brendan Queen's finally getting back to where he was, but I don't know. I feel like the race is from 14th up to get to that final spot. And the flip side of that, I still think it's from Hemrick down. So it's a fight for 3 spots between 8th and 4th to 6 drivers. No, 7. My
Yeah,
apologies. 7 drivers are fighting for 3 spots, in my personal opinion.
absolutely.
Switching gears from the Truck Series to the O'Reilly Series, give me a hot minute. Now with Justin Allgaier, and he was locked in a week ago. Like he's 404 points above the cutoff. He is a confirmed locked in.
Yeah.
Like he is the only driver confirmed locked in into the chase. Continuing on, then we got Jesse Love, who's not going to be that far game locked in. He's only 180. Corey Day, 166. Sheldon Creed, 164. Austin Hill getting his second win of the year, 148. Brendan Jones, 129. Carson Quapple, 124. Sammy Smith, 100. Then you got Parker Retzlaff, 51. Taylor Gray, 33. Sam Mayer, 33. Then William Sawalich is only above the cutoff by 5 over his teammate Brent Cruz, who still is back below the cutoff again with 5. But don't look now, his rookie of the year competitor, Roger Caruth, is only down by 9. And you have Ryan Sieg, Brendan Poole, 27 and 27 Ryan Sieg, then 107 below is Brendan Poole. Then Anthony Alfredo with 112. 133 is Dean Thompson. Jeremy Clements is 142. Jeff Burton, 166. Blaine Perkins, 170. And then Harrison Burton, stop it there with 173. It's hard to judge this one since we only have 6 races left in the chase for the O'Reilly race, for the O'Reilly series.
Yeah.
6 races left. I think from Brent, I'd say if you're 100 points, you're automatically eliminated.
I would agree. So
Brendan pulls down.
yeah.
Brendan Pool's still having one of the best seasons. And he's having one of the best seasons, hands down. I think the bubble, I still think it's Parker Retzlaff all the way down to Ryan Sieg.
I'd confirm that for sure.
It's the same thing in the truck. Instead of flip-flop, it's 7 drivers fighting for 4 spots instead of 3.
It's getting wild. In the later stages of the season, it is getting wild up there.
We move over to the Cup Series, and this is where it gets interesting. The gap has shortened drastically. Tyler Reddick is still above the cutoff with 354 points above. Denny Hamlin is only below him by 8 points. If I'm reading this right,
The irony.
Yeah.
346. Tyler Reddick has led through all of the regular season. We only have 9 races left in the chase.
In the chase.
9 races left until the chase.
There you go.
Oh.
But Ryan Blaney still third with 221. Kyle Larson is in fourth with 174. Gibbs 173. Elliott 172. All 3 of those are a point between each other.
Yeah.
Chris Buescher 138. Then Daniel Schwartz is 116. Carson Hocevar 114. Big jump between him and Chase Briscoe, who's only 69 points above the cutoff. Nice. Bubba Wallace 67. Funny enough. William Byron is currently 13th, only 59 points above the cutoff. William Byron. Bell with an injury is up. He has a reason to be 60 above. My apologies. He's the reason to be that far down from where he was. Eric Jones, 10 points above. Austin Cindric, 8 points. Brian Priest moves back up in the top 16 with only 5 points above the cutoff. Here's where it gets interesting. I thought SVG would jump up more positions.
Wow.
He has dropped down to below the cutoff. He's the first one below with 5 points.
Yeah.
Oh, that accident's what killed
Yeah.
him.
I mean, I feel like we're going to Sonoma, which he is familiar with that track. I'd be surprised if something else happens to him, but that I digress. Joey Logano down by 10. Brad Keselowski down by 13. Not Austin, my apologies. AJ Allmendinger. I've been working for 12 hours straight, y'all. Bear with me. 21 below the cutoff for Allmendinger. Mike McDowell, 34. Ross Chastain, 40. Zane Smith, 51. And Riley Herbst down by 58. I know I went past what I usually do, but I didn't catch it. Riley Herbst is 24th in the standings right now. Only 58 points below.
Yeah.
From where it was last year and how slowly he's been getting up, making his way up, that is impressive.
And I'm personally happy to see that Herbst is at the level that he is at right now, because obviously there's a huge difference that's showing between last year and this year, in terms of speed, in terms of consistency. Riley Herbst easily is in a better place than what he was in last year. As far as making the chase for this year, I don't think it'll happen, but if it does, he's going to come pretty damn close.
Honestly, I feel like the long shot might be, I want to say Austin Dillon with 97, and I'm trying to think we only have 9 races left. I think I'm going to stick.
In my mind, I'd say John Hunter Nemechek would be a skosh bit more of a long shot. Granted, he has speed, and the only reason why I say that is because Austin Dillon, you can't tell if whether or not if he's going to perform like really well or if he's just going to be a mid-pack jabroni.
I misspoke. I was going to say like eliminate from like not being able to be up there.
Yeah.
Like Austin was what I was saying. So like from Austin down, I do not see them making a chase, and that sucks for the rebound that Alex Bowman has been trying to do. But we kind of knew this was going to happen. It's glad that he's not dead last like he was, but at the same time,
yeah, it's not enough.
I think the fight is from, believe it or not, John Hunter and Nemechek down to 27th, because you've seen at least once of these drivers, they have a good points race. They're so close together. They're at least in the top 25 in somewhat shape or form. We see them show up in like my bracket in the 22nd and above at one point, shape or form. We've seen all what number is that? 9? Yeah, 10. I don't know. My math ain't mathing right now, but like at least all those drivers, we see them in like fight for that last spot, the 22nd. But they have a good opportunity to, I'd say, be long shots. If they have good races, I don't see Stenhouse having a good race anytime soon. John Nemechek is the one I'm looking at. Todd Gilliland's 50-50. Riley Herbst has been impressing me. Zane Smith has especially been impressing me. Road course, if we can out AJ Allmendinger, we're about to go to one more. I think this is the last one of the season.
Sonoma is the last one of the year.
And then you got Brad still hanging on by a thread down here. Joey Logano was, as much as I'm happy to see him down there, it is still surprising that he's down here. SVG below. This is honestly, unless he see more performances on short track or oval tracks, this is probably the last shot of him getting back up there in the top 16, let alone maybe stay in this top 16. Depends on how the rest of the season go.
Yeah.
He's been impressive, but I don't know. I'm iffy. I still think the 2 biggest surprises that's on this list is Daniel Suarez and right now Eric Jones.
I'm not surprised with Eric Jones.
I'd say the last time we saw him have like a pretty good season when we introduced the next gen car in 22, when he actually did post start of the playoffs, he did win. Actually, it was the first race.
Yeah.
No. Yes, first race. William Byron is the one that worries me the most. We're coming up on tracks he's good at, though. But at the same time, it's like you're this far in. We have 9 races till the chase, and you're 59 points above the cutoff in a Hendrick car.
Yeah.
Bowman has an excuse, sadly enough. Bowman has an excuse having vertical and missing a lot of races. I think with that being said, I'm going to switch gears to the GTN points, which that has changed pretty much a good amount too. Sly got the most points, I believe, with 4. Or did he tie with
It
somebody?
was 5
He did get
because I got
5.
the sole pile up point.
That was the difference maker.
Going on that, I'm back on the points lead. Only 1 point over surprising second place, Fly.
Who spent most of the season dead last.
10, not just that, but 10, 12 points below at one point, behind Stapleton, who still has a half point, which we'll get to him in a second. Which Elijah's below Sly. Funny enough, on the number that actually won the race.
Yeah, this weekend wasn't all that good for me.
Yeah.
Oh, the trucks wasn't good for any of us.
No, trucks sucked. Points wise, trucks sucked. But Stapleton has now moved to last, only a half a point behind Elijah. Only a half point. We keep messing with Stapleton. When are you going to give up that half point?
Yeah.
It ain't going to be a freak. All right, and that will conclude my segment of all the damn points, and that's going to do it for me tonight. I may pop back later if there's time. I might not. So I'll catch y'all on the flip side.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Wyatt, and you have yourself a good night if we don't see you again.
All right, you too. Good to be here for a little bit.
Absolutely.
It'll be Thursday when this comes out, and I'll still be hard at work. So, all right, see y'all.
Absolutely. See ya. All right. I know you're only here for like a few more minutes because I know you're running pretty tight on time as well. But real quick,
we just got pretty much preview and then predictions.
Well, there's one other thing that we want to touch on just really fast. The rumors that have been confirmed shortly after making the announcement that Josh Berry would not be returning to the Wood Brothers after this year. There were rumors saying that Jesse Love would take over that spot. Well, it turns out, not even a week later, those rumors had pretty much been confirmed. Jesse Love will be driving the number 21 for the Wood Brothers in 2027. And I'm going to go ahead and get your fast thoughts here really quick about this move here that Jesse Love is about to make. What are your reactions to Jesse Love getting officially signed to the Wood Brothers?
I think it's good for him. He's obviously proven consistency, which we know would be very good for the Wood Brothers. I forgot who was the last one to get a win in the Wood Brothers car. But yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction for the Wood Brothers team. Could he have the rookie slump like obviously poor Zilich is having? Probably. But we won't know until next year.
Absolutely.
But I do wish all the best for Jesse Love and Corey HEIM in their Rookie of the Year competition, unlike Zilich.
Pretty much on cruise control.
I mean, this is, I think, the most one-sided Rookie of the Year that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think it's good for him. And we'll definitely see where things go. Because I think he's done decent in a couple cup starts that he's had.
And then one other thing that I actually didn't realize too, which I don't really think this will really require a discussion, but AJ Allmendinger, the deal that he has been signed to is that he is with Colleague through 2029 with the option to remain full-time through 2032. That is a deal that I don't think I've ever heard of in NASCAR, but to be quite honest, Kaulig's about being unique. Kaulig's about breaking tradition, and they've definitely broke it for sure when it comes to the contractual obligations that AJ Allmendinger is now under. And I think they're full-fledgedly, they have over the last decade full-fledged built a team around Allmendinger, and have definitely really made him feel like home. I think we can agree with that. And this deal proves it. If this deal doesn't show it, I don't know what else will. I think with that said, we have definitely gotten a lot of conversation out of the way.
Yeah.
Lots of dissecting with recaps, points. With that said, let's go ahead and preview Sonoma, the last road course race of the season. I believe across O'Reilly's and the Cup Series.
Yeah. Trucks are off for 2 weeks.
Trucks are off for 2 weeks. So, Sly, our last road course race of the season, what are we looking for? Are we thinking that SVG is going to try to come back and redeem himself?
I honestly think so, because one, this is a track that, granted, everybody knows. It's only on asphalt. There's no concrete except for the pit box.
Yep.
So I do think it's a redemption. And granted, I put my picks in, but I will still read them off. You're gonna be a little surprised about the Cup one, maybe.
I think with that said, at this rate, this is actually a perfect segue into our prediction segment. Now, for those of you who are brand new to the show and are not exactly sure how we make our predictions, here's how we make them. We give you a driver who we think is going to win. Pretty self-explanatory. The driver to stay away from is the driver that hasn't been doing well the last couple of weeks, or we're just coming up to a track where they don't perform all that well at, whether statistically or in general. Don't mind the microphone, by the way. I just nudged it with my fingers. And the dark horse... The dark horse is the exact opposite. And yes, packet loss hopefully will not be the topic of conversation when I do go iRacing this week. But with that said, Sly, take it away, man. You are up first.
All right. So for the O'Reillys, my dark horse was actually our winner from the Naval Base Coronado. I'm going to take Austin Hill.
I like that.
My stay away, sad to say, but Brandon Jones. And my driver to win is the Wood Brothers' newest driver next year. I'm taking Jesse Love.
Ooh.
I was tempted to go for the half point, but I can't.
You gotta stay committed to the full point.
Yeah. So for the Cup Series at Sonoma, granted I put him in, but I'm going to go a little different. My stay away is Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, that definitely sounds about right.
My dark horse, Connor Zilic.
Yeah.
And as from what I'm looking at on the Google Doc here, I think it's so far maybe unanimous again. SVG is going to be my driver to win.
Absolutely. I think this time is going to be the time that SVG is going to come back from that wreck that honestly should not have happened. And same for Zilic too. Zilic, honestly, if he survived, he could have been contending with SVG, but
you know, I'll be honest, with the wrecks that happened between O'Reilly and Cup, if this was like at Watkins Glen, at Sonoma, hell, even Lime Rock, they would have never happened.
Yep.
It's because it was a surface change is what did him in. My personal opinion on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Let's go ahead and read off Wyatt and Stapleton's predictions. We're going to start off with Stapleton's here. With his O'Reilly predictions, his dark horse is Austin Hill. His driver to stay away from is Harrison Burton. Driver to win, Brent Cruz. His dark horse for the Cup Series is Kyle Larson. After the Naval Base Coronado, seems pretty reasonable. Driver to stay away from is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for Yuck Motorsports. And driver to win is SVG. For Wyatt's predictions, his dark horse in the O'Reilly series is Taylor Gray. His driver to stay away from, William Sawalich. And his driver to win is Brent Cruz. The irony of choosing all three Gibbs cars for your predictions. With the exception of Brandon Jones. For the Cup Series, he chose Michael McDowell as his dark horse. His driver to stay away from is Brad Keselowski. And we don't need to talk about the driver to win because, again, the decision is unanimous with SVG.
Saw how that worked out for us last week.
Yeah. It might not work that way for this week. So with that said, it is officially my turn to make the predictions.
Elijah, take it away.
Take it away. All right.
I had to do it. I had to do it one time.
Yeah, I had to do it just the one time. Starting off with my driver to win. I think, half points are very, very tempting because you got Connor Zilich in here. You also got SVG in here as well. But,
I know.
But in my honest opinion, I'm going to say for my driver to win, I really do think, even though he got taken out at Naval Base Coronado, I still think he probably would have had a shot to win. Give me Brent Cruz as my driver to win. He definitely has shown speed on road courses in the past. I definitely think he could translate that over here at Sonoma. My driver to stay away from, I think I'm going to say, I think I'm going to have to agree with William Sawalich here. Sawalich will be my driver to stay away from. But my dark horse, you might find this pretty interesting. And I've always saw him to be pretty solid on road courses. This team has been pretty solid over the last few weeks. But my driver to be my dark horse is Austin Green. Yeah, you heard that right. Austin Green. He actually is not that bad at road courses and does find himself consistently inside of the top 10 at almost every single road course race. So give me Austin Green as my dark horse. All right. We have made the promise that you would do this. So Sly, would you like to do the honors?
And now it is time for the main event, the 37th annual Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma Raceway for the NASCAR Cup Series.
Here we go. Unanimous decision here. It's, what do you gotta say here? What do I have to explain by saying SVG is the driver to win? Do we have to explain ourselves like for the umpteenth time?
No.
I think the writing's on the wall. I think the writing is on the wall. Hopefully not his car. Hopefully we don't see Red Bull smeared all over the wall. My driver to stay away from. Yeah, I gotta be honest. I think my driver to stay away from is gonna be Noah Gregson. After his altercation, I was thinking after his altercation with Kevin Magnussen.
But is Kevin is not in the race, so I personally think he's still gonna do decent, but
But my dark horse, I'm gonna say Tyler Reddick will be my dark horse because besides Naval Base Coronado, where he was leading in the later stages and was racing Corey Heim for the win, had Heim not messed up, or had Reddick not messed up rather, and had his left front tire not gone down, I think we would have seen Tyler Reddick race Corey Heim fairly for the win. And I think Zilla, I'm getting my names mixed up here. I think Reddick still probably would have gotten the job done. But I think this time around he's gonna bounce back from the naval base, and I think he's definitely gonna get the job done, and with a good finish or maybe even a win. So give me Tyler Reddick as my dark horse. But alrighty, Sly, we've done everything that we needed to do. We went into a deep dissection of the Naval Base Coronado weekend. Definitely a huge understatement. We've definitely gone into a deep dissection of the points. We have previewed Sonoma. We've made our predictions. We've talked about the news of Jesse Love and AJ Allmendinger. So one last question I got to ask you. Any final thoughts before we get the Sonoma weekend underway?
Save me some wine, please.
I'll be sure to throw in some cheese with that. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up this episode of GTN. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening to this episode. If you're listening to this on Spotify, be sure to hit that follow button. And if you're watching this on YouTube, if you like what you see, be sure to hit that like button and be sure to consider subscribing. It definitely would help us out a lot. So that way you can keep up with every episode that drops every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and Spotify. On behalf of our co-host Wyatt, who is here for a little bit, and also Slifer, I'm Elijah Leonard signing out, and we'll catch you guys on the very next episode of Gamers Talk NASCAR.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to tonight's episode of Gamers Talk NASCAR. Really hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to hit that follow button so you don't miss a future episode throughout the NASCAR season. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.